Hi, everyone. Danielle and Matt Noyes here. Thanks for making the 1 Degree Outside Weather Network part of your daily routine, storms or sunshine.
If you enjoy these videos, we invite you to become a member at patreon.com/1 Degree Outside. Support our mission of continuing to bring accurate weather forecasts and science insights to one and all. This 1 Degree Outside video is brought to you by CrackX Foundation Crack Repair and Waterproofing. 40 years of prompt and economical service to New England homeowners, builders, general contractors, home inspectors, management companies, architects, and engineers. Be sure to visit crackx.com and mention 1 Degree Outside when you make your appointment for an incredible discount. Well, we may not be in the depths of winter anymore, but we still have an active weather pattern. Of course, we're going to cover it every step of the way here in our Insights video, the deep dive into meteorology. I'm meteorologist Matt Noyes. In this video, we're going to talk about shifting winds ahead this week. And with the shifts in wind come changes in temperature. Actually, the wind later today is light enough you get a sea breeze, but that's not going to be the case for most of the days ahead. The chance of snow and rain showers comes back to us Wednesday night, Thursday. We'll talk about that. And an early look at the weekend wind. We will cover that coming up here as well because it will be windy by Sunday. Let me get out of the way so you can see your name. Thank you to all of our Patreon members, and I do mean that very sincerely from both Danielle and I. We appreciate that you are supporting our mission to get science info out there, to get weather information out there. If you see your name on there, that means you are contributing in some way, shape, or form. If you want to join our Patreon members, you go to patreon.com/1 Degree Outside. And you know what? One of our 1 Degree Outside champions, Gate City Reflexology and Massage in Nashua, New Hampshire. Check them out. If you head there, make sure you tell them you heard about them at 1 Degree Outside. All right, let's go ahead and dive in, show you what's going on. By the way, just had a podcast that we released for our Inside Track members and above end of last week. We talk about the lunar eclipse coming up later this week. We talk about cold fronts and the mechanics of those, talk about NOAA and the staffing issues that are going on there with the changes in the administration. We talk about changing the clocks. So check it out if you haven't yet. Again, that's on the Inside Track membership and above at Patreon. Okay, we've got the drought continuing in the southwestern and western United States, and the drought continuing here at home as well. The worst conditions for drought are in South Jersey, but we've got a severe drought everywhere in this tan coloring that comes up in a central Mass, and then that light brown is a moderate drought, which goes all the way up the Maine coast. So I guess it shouldn't be surprising that we're starting to see at least some brush fires breaking out in west central Connecticut. We believe this is only the beginning. You're going to have dry conditions ahead and a lot of wind that comes over the next several days, and that's going to help to fan the flames and continue to feed these brush fires. If you want to stay on top of wind forecasts, actually we've got wind direction and speed in the hourly part of our app. So you can get the next 48 hours, each hour along the way by downloading the 1 Degree Outside weather app. Here's what's going on in the weather setup, at least at the surface. Big area high pressure coming in through the central Great Lakes, cold front out ahead of it. This is tomorrow's weather map. You're out ahead of the cold front, you're going to be mild. We get temperatures up near 60 degrees, even into parts of southern New England. By the time Tuesday afternoon is done, the wind will be increasing, and that will drive up the brush fire danger a bit with no precipitation coming over the course of the next 24 to 36 hours as well. The wind isn't bad. Later today, again, it gets light enough. You get a sea breeze tonight. There's not much, but tomorrow, this is where you start kicking 25, 30 miles per hour coming out of the south-southwest as that breeze picks up and carries in some of that milder air that'll be with us here on your Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, a little bubble of high pressure comes overhead. It's going to have cool air. It sets the stage so when the next one drops in, it could be rain and snow showers Wednesday night into Thursday. It's funny because Wednesday's highs still squeezing into the 40s and 50s for a lot of us across New England, but at the same time, the air is dry. So by the time you get to Wednesday night, it may be able to cool off a bit. Tomorrow with the cold front coming through, it's just going to be a little shower here and there that we'll find across northern and western New England in the late day and evening. Most of us in southern and eastern New England, it dries up before it ever gets in. Here's that Wednesday kind of quiet day, but Wednesday night, snow comes into northern New England. It is snow and rain showers in southern New England. If you're far enough south near the south coast, you may be south of the action entirely. And during the day Thursday, as the temperature starts to rise, you'd go over to a leftover raindrop in most spots, much of the precipitation done by then. I'm stopping things Thursday night or Friday morning at about 3 in the morning. That's the lunar eclipse. Notice a number of clouds still overhead. However, this is something we actually did talk about in the podcast too. We are between disturbances, so I don't think all hope is lost. It doesn't look good right now, but at the same time, notice some clearing in northern New England. It's certainly possible that with that break between disturbances, you may clear just in the nick of time. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep you posted in these insight videos here over the course of the week. Meanwhile, as we head to the upcoming weekend, next storm taking shape, this will be a biggie out across the nation's midsection, but for us, it's going to be mild wind again as we get into the weekend. We'll talk more about that in pattern predictions, which is the 2-week forecast we'll have coming out later today at our website and atop our app. What is the chance of getting an inch of snow or more out of that Wednesday night, Thursday event? Well, in northern New England, it's pretty good. You're up over 50% for a lot of the mountains. If you line it up with the legend, that's generally 60 to 70% across the mountainous terrain. In southern New England, it's about a 20% chance that you'd get an inch of snow or more. We don't think that's going to happen. We think likely it's going to be a dusting for spots near and north of the Turnpike. But again, we'll keep you posted as we get closer to it. The timing on that is after midnight Wednesday night and too early on Thursday morning. Highs tomorrow making it to near 60. As I mentioned, you get that push of southerly wind that drives it up. There comes a cold front Tuesday evening and night. Look what it does in northern New England. Overnight lows Tuesday night dropping down into the teens, so that Wednesday is a cool day. Again, 40s and 50s in parts of southern New England, not the case in northern New England, but a dry air. It can cool off at night. Wednesday night, you're down near or below the 32-degree freezing mark, and that's why you'd find some of those snow showers may be able to stick in spots. And then Thursday, you do make the recovery back up into the 40s for almost everybody. Friday, you're likely to be back up into the 50s, at least in the southern half of New England. Sets you up for the weekend. I want to show you the jet stream. We're going to talk more about this coming up in that pattern predictions video, but bottom line, we play things through. You've got a confluent flow right now in the jet stream. In other words, it's not really favorable for significant storm development. It still isn't at the midweek this week, which is why whatever comes through Wednesday night, Thursday isn't that big of a deal. But notice what's happening by the time we get to the weekend. The jet stream is pointing out of the southwest and south. That's a warm wind direction for us, both at aloft and in the lower levels of the atmosphere. Winds at about 6,000 feet. You're watching this pocket right in here. This is about 50 to 70 mile per hour winds just off the deck, and it comes right over us by the time we get into Sunday. And that's why we say Sunday's gusts probably go over 50 coming out of the south and southwest, and actually may be able to exceed 60 in a couple of spots on Sunday afternoon. As the weather changes, your gear changes. So don't forget, if you would, that we do have our merchandise store open, swag.onedegreeoutside.com. All right, that pattern predictions. Look to the next 2 weeks. Coming up when I see you again in just a little while at onedegreeoutside.com and atop the 1 Degree Outside weather app.